Hey guys, it's Andy here from EverTrek. So how fit do you need to be to climb Kilimanjaro? It's a great question, and we do get asked a lot about fitness, and especially on most of our trips, but Kilimanjaro essentially is a tough challenge. If it's your first time at high altitude, we certainly get some newbies who come along and they summit Kili, and it was very tough for them. Whereas you get people who put in the work and they put in, they're already out hiking, they're already out climbing some maybe peaks in the UK, or to our US customers, we get some people out in the Rockies and doing some hiking and preparation, some good leg work, and the trip is a lot far more enjoyable experience. So really, in terms of fitness, it does help. And I don't want to say like you need to be sort of like a triathlete, or you need to be do a half marathon level. It doesn't really come down to that, because for us, we've seen people turn up and the most they've done is like a 3-hour walk before going on Kilimanjaro, and they've summited it. And like I said, they found it really hard, but it really comes down to whether you want to climb Kilimanjaro or not. And that goes with most challenges. My opinion is that anyone can do it with the right mindset, with the right motivation. And the amount of stuff you do beforehand helps hugely, but isn't, I wouldn't say isn't a must. I mean, from our opinion, do it because it's really important, and it's part of the enjoyment of the trip as well. The build up, say you book your trip, say 12 months in advance, and then you're out maybe a couple of times a month, and I know it's been challenging in the last 12 months, but you're out doing maybe a couple of miles a day, or even if you're doing like maybe a 10-miler once every couple of weeks. That'll certainly help you. One thing that, in addition to that, that can make a difference when you're on Kili is before you go, try and do a couple of days in a row. So, do a long walk, say 4 or 5 hours. Then the next day when you're aching, go out again, do another long walk and see how your body feels, because that's what it'll feel like on the trip. Those multi-day treks do surprise some people, because you're not used to doing that so much. So, putting that into any form of training certainly helps. A little tip as well, and from personal experience, I kind of wish I've done this, is that if you can get the opportunity, try and do a night walk. When you're climbing Kilimanjaro, it is all about summit night. And, you have to get up, it's the night before essentially, but, at sort of 10:30, 11 p.m. and then you walk in through the early hours. Now that's very different to normal life. So, some people, it's like they're almost falling asleep on their trekking poles. So yeah, certainly if you can practice, before you go over and do maybe a night walk, feel that tiredness, feel that exerting yourself, but you're battling through it, then I think that'll really make a difference when you're doing your summit climb. So I hope that answers your question in terms of how fit you need to be, to climb Kilimanjaro.